I'm not excited for you guys to berate this masterpiece for the next 15 minutes.
Masterpiece. Jason, what are we
It was
supposed to do
quality
when
television.
you lob us softballs like that? Masterpiece. Oh, I don't know.
This would be a masterpiece if it was on CW. I will say that. This is exactly what the show looks like. It looks like a big-time CW linchpin of a show. So let's just get into it.
Yeah, the first
Daredevil Born Again is a sequel season reboot of sorts to the original Netflix masterpiece of a show called Daredevil, which ran from 2015 to like 2017 or 18. 3 seasons, tremendous show. Really set the tone for what was possible with this property, or with a Marvel property, where we really didn't have a concept of what a Marvel TV show would look like at that point. Disney Plus did not exist, so Netflix got the rights and did Daredevil and a couple other shows, and Daredevil was awesome. Tremendous fights, great characters, great acting, and this show has come along to be the sequel successor. Now, initially, it was like, oh no, Disney Plus is here. Is it going to ruin the show? And yes, that is the answer, is that this has completely ruined the show. This show sucks. I did not like it. I was in agony watching this.
God.
Midway through the second episode, I was like, that's it. I'm done. I had to text you guys and be like, did you guys finish the second episode? Because I wanted to know if it was just me. And I'm like, I'm not finishing this unless you guys did, and you did. So I did finish the second episode of the premiere for the first episode, second episode. So don't fear. If you like the show, Jason is here to agree with you, and he's going to tell you about how much he loved the show. So, yes, I did not enjoy this at all. I can't wait to unload everything I have to say about this piece of shit show that just ruined the legacy of the original show. Jason, why is the show why is the show so great?
Man, I'm gonna have a hard time defending this thing if this is already the angle that you guys are coming
Here's
from.
a hill.
All right, so
Die on it.
yes, okay. So this is completely different from the first 3 seasons. I'm already getting that vibe, and this was supposed to be. This is actually they had to reshoot and redo the show a little bit over the past couple years because it was a courtroom drama. They did a thing of this, 8 episodes, purely courtroom. Foggy and Karen weren't even in it, and with the original showrunner, and barely any fight scenes, things like that. And then what's his name took it over, but he also had done Moon Knight and something else. So he took it over and added a little bit more violence, I guess you would say, to it. And yes, the first scene in the first episode, I had a bad taste in my mouth. That them trying to recreate the hallway fight scene and just butchering it and doing something completely different, where camera angle floating upwards the whole time and more CG fighting on that sort of stuff. The whole the rest of the 2 episodes had to get that taste out of my mouth from that scene alone. So I definitely agree with you on that. The whole show had to dig itself out of that hole, but I think it did so very well. But I can see where you're coming from. It's not the direction that you guys want this show to go, but I am really excited for this, see like the characters to get developed even more from what we already know, because I mean we know Fisk and we know Matt Murdock very well, and we've actually even seen Matt Murdock's character in like 3 or 4 different things over the past couple years. So it's not like he's like been away from the MCU. Spider-Man: No Way Home, She-Hulk, and Echo. You know, we both got to see both of those characters still. So what was 7 years since the Netflix show ended, and now we're getting this one. So I did feel a little bit like I have to get caught back up for what's going on, but not so much. But dude, those two, man, every time Charlie Cox comes on the screen, I'm just enthralled by his acting. I think he's a fantastic actor, and just the same with D'Onofrio. Like, yes, I'm actually interested to see you pick apart this a little bit, because I didn't see as many of the flaws, I guess, that you guys saw with it. I'm very happy with the character development and the angle the show is going, because it's going to be some courtroom drama stuff with a little bit of action on the side, and I'm okay with that. Okay, knock it down a couple pegs.
I am dying to know what Remy thought, because didn't you recently rewatch Daredevil?
I recently rewatched just the first season. Just the tone of the show could not be different. How this show is so clearly a Disney product, and the laziness of the writing. 0 time to breathe. Fisk is gone, right? He does the whole, I'm going to put myself in the limelight, I'm going to be this good guy at the end in season 3 of Daredevil, and then we're just doing that all over again, except it's like, Fisk is back. He might have a chance at running. Oh, he's elected mayor. Like, bop, bop, bop. No, nothing feels earned about that at all. It's just like, oh, and all of a sudden, and then in the second episode, they're like, well, voters don't like this, and voters don't like that. And I was like, hold up. Quick Google search. Mayors are elected for 4 years. Why are we talking about voters in your first 100 days? That doesn't make any fucking sense. The awkwardness of his, like, oh, hey, we got our young Nelk boy that's in the fucking room, like, with his thumb on the pulse of what young men want. They even got the blue fucking hat on. Like,
Yeah, and well, you missed another major thing too. Like he got his face blown off at the end of Echo, and we really didn't see that reconstruction. And how, like, you see a slight scar on the side of his face, but nothing about that gets kind of talked about either.
So lazy. It's so fucking lazy. And like, we were doomed from that scene, that first scene. It's so awkward. The CG is so obvious when they're fighting. It looks so bad. You take that scene compared to that first season hallway scene is the best because it's just simple. It doesn't, guys. You don't need the fucking smoke grenades going off and the flashing lights and coming up to the roof. It's literally just a fucking hallway and a door, and he's flying in and out of the door. Guys are going back and forth, and you can tell it's just all real stunts. And this show has none of that. Now, that being said, yes, Charlie Cox, amazing actor. Like, none of this is his fault. Vincent D'Onofrio, incredible. Just the way that he performs as the Kingpin is so interesting to watch, even when given a shitty script. God, it's just so obvious how poor this product is compared to the Netflix, and it's unfortunate.
So spoilers, we're going to get into all the spoilers of the first 2 episodes, which is the premiere that dropped. I was already alarmed because of, the cinematography is just very jumbled, just the angles suck, and it just looks it's supposed to look handheld. And then in the fight sequences, there's that fake handheld effect they add, where it's like supposed to be like moving, but it's just digital, which looks so much like Kenobi. They do this thing. And this is a very strange reference, but there's a gag in one of the early seasons of Family Guy called Shovin' Buddies, where there's a fake show that like keeps popping up throughout the episode of like 2 dudes just shoving each other and like, Shovin' Buddies, 5 o'clock on Tuesdays. And so I always reference that when it comes to things like this, where initially, so we're just shown Foggy and Karen and Matt immediately coming out, and they're talking and they're smiling and laughing, and we don't know what the fuck they're talking about because it just keeps cutting and it's just showing them having a good time. We don't care what the dialogue is. We don't care what they're talking about. They're just laughing and smiling and ha ha ha. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know what they're talking about. This isn't very interesting. So the writers can't finish a fucking scene to save their lives. They're just like, well, let's just show them having a good time. And we'll show Matt having a good time on his blind date. And we'll show this, but the audio, we don't have a way to write a good cohesive scene. There's no good dialogue that makes the Kingpin seem menacing. We get introduced to the Kingpin just being completely crying subservient to Vanessa, who's now the criminal mastermind that was way more superior than him. I mean, you could not make this stupider if you tried. Like, this is the only moment that I had where I thought that maybe this show is going to surprise me, because when the stock was just cratering. When Kingpin's like crying to Vanessa, being like, please, I want to be with you. I'll do anything. I want to run for mayor. I thought that he was going to snap, and we were going to have a spoiler alert for the Penguin. We're going to have a Penguin moment where he just strangles Vanessa and kills her. And like, holy shit, like now we're like in it. Like Kingpin is mayor and he just killed like the woman of his... That would have been interesting. But no, this show sucks. It just shoehorns a bunch of stupid characters I don't give a fuck about. We'll get into the political parallels in a minute. But Jason, I don't want you to just nod and be like, you're right, that was terrible. You like the show. I want you to stand on this hill so I can bury you right there, right where the sun comes up, Jason. Go for it.
No. Well, yeah, yeah. No, and seeing you guys from because I'm always looking at stuff with the rosy lens, so everything looks so much. I don't care. It's a good time on the couch. I got 45 minutes. Great. Let's get entertained. But to poke at it a little bit more, I can definitely see a lot of the problems. But at the same time, guys, I mean, it's still it's good. It's so much better than what we've seen in a lot of other of the Marvel stuff, and I feel like the rewrites and things are what we are getting thrown off by, because that first scene was something that they, I think, just threw on there, because Foggy and Karen not even supposed to be characters, and I do think it was cool them killing Foggy right in the first episode. Like, that felt like a very cool tone. Every bad scene, I feel like, did have something good within it. You just had to really look for it, like that diner scene with Kingpin and Matt, like sitting there talking, like that was tense. Like, I had sweaty palms while I was watching that. Just how he's sitting on the table, he's so big on the table, and Matt almost looks small, but he's just not backing down and talking shit to him. Like, if you step out of line, I will put you back in place. It's like this very cool kind of like two sides of the same coin kind of thing going on. Yes,
that's weak even for you.
Hey, no. Kingpin is trying to stop being violent to be moving forward, and Matt wants to be more violent to move forward. It's like the two of them are like trying to like switch what they're doing. This Kingpin mayor thing is a very, very cool part of the Marvel universe, where Kingpin does become mayor for a while, and this Muse guy that's eventually going to get introduced is a very cool character. And hearing people who've seen a lot more of the episodes online, they treat the comic book storyline well within this. So I think we'll get just a good story. It's not going to be as beat 'em up Punisher kind of stuff as, well, he's going to be in it at some point. So at least one episode will have some Punisher just rocking shit, but it's going to be courtroom drama. Hopefully She-Hulk makes an appearance in one of the courtrooms.
I will say, I do agree. I do think that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio will carry this show as pallbearers when they lay it into the ground as the terrible, horrible piece of shit dead show that it is.
Oh,
anyway,
come
Rambo.
on, no. Just embrace what it is.
No, I will not embrace what this show. I'm not watching any more of this show. I'm not gonna fucking do it, dude. This show was. I was bored.
No.
I was bored. It wasn't even that. I was fucking bored.
It's expectations. You went in expecting something. Season 4 of
a competent show that could at least have more than one action scene at the very beginning of the first episode. The second episode ends with an action scene, and everything in between was so boring. I almost fell asleep. Rembo. So the big thing at the beginning of the show is that they kill off Foggy Nelson within the first 10 minutes of the show. What were your thoughts about that?
Again, unearned. I feel like that's like the big word that keeps coming to my mind with the show. Is just like it just felt shallow. You could have started the show after that fight scene where it's been 5 years. He's hung it up. He's not turning back. He's started his own law firm. He's being successful there. And he's just decided after the last brutal fight with the Kingpin that he's just like, I'm done with it. Because he almost goes to the point of killing Kingpin and Bullseye at that point. So he already has that turmoil inside him. Again, that whole everything about that first opening scene was just bad. It just, again, classic. This is what Marvel does now. They reshoot things because they realize that their product sucks and then they make it worse. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, they probably were like, we need action. It's like they presented a courtroom drama show, which clearly you two don't want to see either. And they're trying to... Okay. Well, then trying to add action to it and failing at it, but at least trying to put more action into a show that was going to probably be like just some Law and Order shit, or something along those lines, where it was like one case or something per episode, and then like just Matt Murdock using his spider sense, which we better get a Spider-Man mention at some point throughout the season.
Yeah.
We did already?
Kingpin.
Oh shit, I missed that. What? When? What was it?
Kingpin talks about wanting to end vigilantes and talks about, someone that wears like a devil mask, or the guy that wears a skull, and then the guy that is a bug or whatever. He mentions those three
that's right.
in a sentence. There's one of the issues I have with the show, amongst the plethora that I do, is the show is called Daredevil Born Again. Now, I am not a practicing religious man myself, but for you religious scholars out there, I'll remind you that born again, the whole concept of born again, is a part of Christianity Daredevil's a Catholic, a practicing Catholic. It's a whole giant part of the original Netflix show is him going to confessional, talking with his priest about moral conundrums and how he feels about, enacting violence upon bad people, perhaps, and does the end justify the means, and how it ties back to the teachings of Christ, and all these things that are very interesting. I thought in the original show, it was handled very well. This show is called Born Again. Now, Born Again is the concept that Christ died and was resurrected, and that you as a Christian, when you repent of your sins and become a Christian and follow and worship Christ, that you are born again unto Christ. So it is a whole thing within the religion of Christianity. And this show is called that, so you would think there would be some type of connection. And with the Foggy death, there being absolutely nothing to do with his faith, with him grappling with what it's like to lose someone as a Christian, and pondering the afterlife, or pondering just everything that comes up as a religious person that loses someone they love. There was none of that. You got some shitty song that played when Matt was playing the piano, and it's some like, I'm a Christian, and he says some dumb line that's just supposed to cover everything, and it's stupid. And it really bothers me because it's just classic. They're just going to whitewash his religious backstory, even though it's very important for the character. And this was a very easy way to put that in there. And instead, we're just going to forget about it, and we're going to move on.
Well, give him time on
No,
that, because
I'm literally giving him no more time, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point,
Yes.
right, Jason, is that they added that scene in later. So all the rest of the show has little to nothing to do with that, maybe then for the exception of some throwaway scenes that they'll add in to try to bridge some gaps, and just being like, oh yeah, and that time Foggy died sucked. But like clearly not written to be part of the rest of this show. And
No, they added fight scenes and confessional scenes. Those are the two things they made sure to put in throughout the whole
you
season.
mean the
Like, we
stuff
got to
that
get more of those
actually
in.
makes Daredevil, they put those back in. It's like, oh yeah, this should probably be in there. Him fighting guys and going to confessions.
Yeah, see, faith in it, my brothers.
Jason, you mentioned the White Tiger.
The very
Yeah,
end
it's
of
very
one
sad because the guy,
episode,
like literally months after filming, died of cancer. Like really, really unfortunate. So I don't have anything bad to say about him. But yeah, Jason, what are your thoughts on that character they introduced with White Tiger?
Well, I don't know much about the character, but it's cool that Matt is representing another vigilante. So it's like it's going to be this whole angle here of how he deals with that, and and it's could have been him in this position where he gets accused of killing a cop. Which that's another scene they handled very horribly. Like, I had no idea what was going on there too. Like the cops, and I know we're all supposed to be like, oh, what's going on? He all of a sudden got thrown in front of a train, and they're actually cops, and oh my god, he's now getting arrested because he tried to help someone. It was too quick, but I think we were supposed to be kind of jarred by that. But no, I don't care much about like the White Tiger character itself, which I do think this guy is actually going to be a very cool actor, but it's more of that angle of it. Like, this is the other side of vigilantism and fighting in the streets. Like, when you do get caught, what's going to fucking happen? I think with the subject matter, and I care more about these characters. I want what did I even write this down? A compelling drama with a side of violent action. Like, that's what I feel like this is going to be. It's like a very compelling character drama of Fisk and Murdoch, and with just a sprinkling of what we really were looking for.
I mean, if you watch season 2 of Daredevil, you can have both. That's like the whole thing of Daredevil season 2 is they have a super intense courtroom story with Punisher, while also maintaining some of the most insane violence you've ever seen on TV. Like, they have both, and you can do both, but these fucking guys.
We got time.
These fucking
These
guys
first two episodes, guys. We got what, 6 more? Is there 8 episodes or 10?
Don't care, don't know, out of sight, out of
6
mind.
episodes, 8 episodes, 10 episodes, don't care.
Who cares?
Daredevil
Whatever.
4.
So I got to talk about the political connection.
come
It is
on,
it is
dude.
so funny just how on the nose they can be. With Fisk obviously being Trump, and then the hilarity. I mean, it was funny. I was laughing because the whole plot of the first 2 episodes basically is that Matt Murdock has FDS, Fisk derangement syndrome, because he literally just hears someone saying, "Hey, you know what? That Fisk makes some good points," and he's like going through a panic attack because he can't even. You don't know how bad he is. He'll destroy this city. He's a maniac. He's a monster. It's like, where have I seen this before? But I do think Fisk makes some good points. I
think we should hear him out.
Come on, he's a businessman. He makes deals all day.
The getting out of the car and he's just like, "What's going on here? There's a traffic jam." Well, Mr. Fisk, sir, we're waiting on a permit. Consider the permit cleared. Fill in this hole.
Woo!
Like, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, good thing we have all of our stuff to fill in the hole ready to go." Like, we definitely weren't waiting for that permit to clear. We were literally just sitting here with our phones at like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that?
The red tape.
And then there's people out.
If someone could just cut the red tape around
There's
there.
nothing that looks worse in a movie than people on their fucking phones, dude. It never works. It never works. It always looks so weird and corny and bad when people are just like, "Oh, out recording," and they're like, "Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much."
Oh, it feels so good to be back.
Robert Eggers was right. Robert Eggers said that the thought of filming a car or a cell phone sickens him, and he's 100% correct. Rembo, are you going to continue to watch this show, or are you done?
I don't know. Like, I might just wait. I don't think I want to look forward to this each week, so I think I'll just wait till it's wrapped and then just kind of skim through and see, like, if it picks up. But, like, I assume it's leading to him snapping, at some point. He'll snap in the same way Matt will snap. And so that'll be interesting. Maybe it'll just be a lot of BS to get through to there. So I think I'll just wait. But why would I? Why would I look forward to this each week when I can just look forward to Reacher season 3 on Amazon Prime? Check your local.
This is going to be my selling. It's like a Tuesday drop, so there's nothing else dropping on the day Daredevil drops. I feel like there's nothing
Wednesday at midnight, Thursday at 12 a.m. Reacher drops on Amazon.
Yeah, like Thursdays is Reacher Thursdays, but we need something before Reacher.
If you couldn't get your fix from the Kingpin being little, you can get your fix by the big guy and the bigger guy on Reacher.
In the bigger guy.
Amazon Prime.
Did this just turn into a Reacher review?
I can't believe I would, if you told me 10 minutes into the first episode, Maverick, you can stop right now and start watching Reacher, I would have immediately changed the channel.
Wait, have you not watched the first 3 episodes of Reacher?
I have still not watched the big guy yet. So, but I will. I'm not watching any more of this show, but I will watch Reacher because at least Reacher's fun. It might be dumb, but it's fun. The show was not fun at all. Other thing that bothered me, and I knew they were going to do this because of rumblings online. So at the end of the second episode, the bad cop who's beating people up, shows that he has a Punisher skull on the wrist. And immediately I already know there's a comic that was written a few years ago where some writer felt the need to have the Punisher tell cops that have the Punisher logo that they're bad and you don't represent me. And it was just such a ham-fisted way of trying to disown anyone. And again, there's a lot of douchebags out there with Punisher logos. Like, there's a lot of them. But there's also people that just like the Punisher and like the concept of the Punisher and vigilante justice. And again, as a concept, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying as a concept, there's plenty of diversity of people that like the Punisher and the symbol and everything. But there was a comic written a few years ago that was trying to disavow anyone that uses that logo. And it was very politically driven. And so when I see the cop with the Punisher logo, I already know this is just going to set up. So when they bring back the Punisher, that he's going to tell all these cops what a piece of shit they are. And it's not this paired with the Kingpin Trump storyline. It's just, I can see where all this is going. And the writing has been very mediocre and it's not going to be nuanced or interesting or thought provoking. So I am just so uninterested in watching someone's political rant that they had written probably 2 years ago. That's now become a butchered ass show that shouldn't be watched by anybody except Jason. No offense.
None taken. No, I can see them trying to spin it that way, and hopefully they don't. They got to tread lightly during this stuff because the boys just did it. The boys
exactly. That's what I was about to fucking say. I was like, dude, I literally just watched all of this. I watched all of the Trumpisms, all of the fucking cop shit. We just literally watched all of that with the boys.
And I think that was even maybe some of the rewrites too, because it was hitting a little too close to that. So I think they might have toned it down a little bit. They're going to sprinkle it in because they have to. It's this day and age, and it'd be weird. It's like them not talking about the blip. You know, it's like how many of these shows Marvel shows don't talk about how people were gone for 5 years, you know, and then they showed back up. Like that needs to be all the time, every day, you know.
You need the Department of Disney Efficiency, DODE, to just clear out all the shows. We don't need those shows, Jason. No, the shows, no, the movies. We need to get Disney to be a
Department of
good
Disney
company
Efficiency.
once more.
Oh God, it's good to be back.
It's good to be back. And that's last page.